Hey, my favorite marketing students, it's Dr. G here. Hope you're doing well. The sun is finally peeking out here in St. George, so I'm really excited to see that after having a few really dreary days, which isn't the best in the environment that we find ourselves in, but we're making the best of it. And what I'm here to do today is to test out some new tools. For one thing, I got some new toys. I'm gonna learn how to screencast, so we'll see if the Internet of Things lady can figure this stuff out. I sure hope so. But regardless of how I do with the technology, I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about how we are going to transition our consumer behavior semester project into an online format and an individual project. So pay close attention to some of the changes that I've made. I have uploaded the new project into Canvas, so that's there for you to look at, but I want to spend some time going into detail again about each of the sections that will be expected of you and talk a little bit about the requirements as well as the grading. So I will get right to it, and again, I hope you're doing well today, and let's talk about the project. So as you know, we have a large project due at the end of the semester, and it's a culmination of everything that we've learned throughout the semester. It's a big research project, and you've been working on it since the beginning of the semester, so this should be no surprise to you. All about consumer behavior, trying to find a topic or a phenomenon that you find interesting, and researching it to see how we can use that information to create a marketing recommendation for somebody who might be interested in it. So as I mentioned, we've been working on this for a long time. You and your team had selected a consumer behavior problem or phenomenon that you were interested in looking at. Some of you were looking at color, some brands, some shopping time, place, a lot of really cool things. Your topic isn't going to change. You've been working on it. You should have been researching already, collaborating as a team. We've had lots of different times within the class to start working on this as a group. But what is going to change in today's world with the online format? You're still going to have a written semester project. The thing is, you are going to do this as an individual. Everyone will write their own paper. You still can collaborate as a team if you want to, sub out or section off. I'll do this research, you do that research. That's perfectly fine. Share and collaborate. I think that would be a beautiful thing to do, but each one of you has to write your own written paper based on the topic that you're investigating. We will not have a presentation, which is really sad because it's always fun for us to find out what others are doing and learn about all of these amazing concepts in consumer behavior. But we just don't have the resources and the time available to have everyone do a presentation, and a group presentation is just very difficult in this type of format. So, individual project, it is due finals week on Tuesday, 4/28 at 10:50 a.m. So make sure that every single person is going to upload their written project into Canvas prior to that time. So let me go through the revised instructions. Here's what you're going to do. We talked about identifying a marketing problem for an industry, a company, or an organization. And you've already done this through your topic proposal. What you're doing now is you're evaluating that problem based on consumer behavior theory. So you've come up with a research question already, and the next part of the project is to do some secondary research. I'll talk about that in a minute. Originally, I was going to have you do primary research, which is kind of a shame we're not, but that involves people. And as you know, social distancing right now, we don't get to be with people. A very sad thing. So we can't do interviews, we can't do focus groups. You could do an electronic survey if you would like, feel free to do that. But it is not going to be a requirement to do primary research in this project based on where we are in society today and what's going on. Once you've done your research, your secondary research, you are going to then create a recommendation based on what you learned on a business problem that you've outlined in your topic proposal. Then you're going to create a written format. So this is what you're going to do. These are your tasks ahead of you. The first thing is defining the problem. You've already done this with your topic selection assignment. You've looked at a behavioral phenomenon that influences consumer behavior and decision making. You've created a marketing problem that a potential business or a business that you know might have based on that phenomenon. And you've developed a research question, which is going to help you explore specifically the information regarding that phenomenon. So now, your next step, if you haven't already started doing this, and I'm hoping that you've already started doing some literature search, and you are going to investigate this problem through research. Secondary research. If you remember from class, secondary research is the type of research that someone else has already done. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to Dixie or library.dixie.edu, look through articles, journal reports, look on the internet, try to find some good searches for the question that you might have. For example, is Axe deodorant spray preferred by men or women? And what would that mean to a person in a marketing area? Obviously, your question is going to be a little bit more broad than that, but those are the types of things you're going to investigate. You might want to look at specific companies. You want to look at consumer behavior phenomenon. And truly, what research has already been done? Are there statistics out there? Is there journal articles that you can find? Newspaper articles, blogs, social media. Put it all together, the secondary research, and the results from that literature review will be the research needed for you to write the rest of your paper. So once you have your research completed, and there's lots of iterations of this, you're going to start to explore the data and analyze it and try to come up with a good answer to your research question based on what you've learned. And what I want you to do is hone in on one specific insight about that phenomenon that's very interesting to you. Finally, you're going to take those insights, you're going to create an actionable marketing recommendation based on your research question. And what I want you to do is to look at what that recommendation, how it might help a business, and what actions might you take based on what you know. Maybe it's a product or a pricing change. Maybe it's something in promotion or distribution channels. Take what you've learned in consumer behavior and how we act and how we buy as consumers and try to come up with an insight and a recommendation that a business can actually implement. So that's it in a nutshell. So here's what you have to do for the paper. I have it highlighted in very, very detailed here. Much detail, sorry. First of all, you're going to have an introduction because every good paper has an introduction. You are going to write this paper in APA format. There are Word documents that can help you guide you through this, but this is a formal research paper. You need to start learning how to write an APA format. So you're going to start out with, tell me about the business, tell me about the definition, the research question in an introduction. I want that to be about a half to 1 page. Then your review of secondary information. Tell me about where did you find the information? Cite at least 5 to 10 sources. You're not just going to do a little bit of research and get a good grade on this paper. So cite your sources in the body of the paper. Tell me about what, when, how, where. Information about this consumer phenomenon. Tell me some insights and theories you've learned. So that should be about 2 to 3 pages. Then the analysis or the research. What did you learn from this? And how is that learning going to translate into a recommendation that you're going to put together? So the insights you've gleaned should be about 2 pages. Your actionable recommendation for a business will be about 1 page. And then limitations and suggestions for future study. We always put this in every research because we can't do it all. One of the limitations all of you are going to have is that we started out wanting to do our own research. We wanted to talk to people. We wanted to do some survey work. Maybe we wanted to do a focus group. Well, guess what? We can't do that because of the situation we're in an online format and not being able to talk to people because we have to be cooped up in our homes. That said, that's a limitation to your study. 1 or 2 paragraphs, that's all you need. Conclude it up, and then finally you're going to put your references, any tables or stats that you have in an appendix. So yes, this is a formal research paper, maximum of 10 pages. You don't need to write a novel, but it needs to have enough meat, enough information for me to understand that you truly understand the ins and outs of this consumer behavior phenomena, how you translate it into a business problem, and in an actionable recommendation. So I have some very specific details on this paper. This is a research study. You're going to have a cover sheet with your name on it, the name of the paper. You're going to have APA style, so within the body of the paper you need to cite your resources. Yes, you will have a reference sheet at the end, but within the body of the paper, if you make a claim, I need to know where that was cited from. And then finally, please put it in Word format. No pages, no Google Docs. If you can save it in Word format, that will be the easiest for me. And then a 12-point font because I need to be able to read it, and I'm getting old. So 12-point font is great for me. So those are the deliverables. Now, how are you getting graded? I have a very detailed rubric here. Follow the rubric when you're putting together your paper. It couldn't be more standardized. I'm going to grade you on your problem definition, and most of that has already done in your topic summary, your research, your analysis and findings, your recommendation, and finally your business writing. So the rubric is in Canvas. As you're laying out your paper, be sure to address the deliverables that I have here and the rubric, and you should be great. You are all rock stars. You're going to be super at this. So, got questions on this? Lots of ways you can reach me. Email, text me, 651-808-0196. I can set up a Zoom meeting with you. I have a Zoom account, and we can do some face-to-face if you would prefer to speak to me virtually. But I know you're all going to be great at and very focused at getting this semester-long project done, because it is a good hunk of your grade. It's 200 points, so it's not something to take lightly. Just to remind you, everyone has to do their own paper. You can collaborate in teams, you can research in teams, but you have to create your own paper, and each person has to upload it into Canvas. And sadly, we will no longer have the presentations that I was so looking forward to sharing, have you share with your peers. So again, that's it in a nutshell. I will see you in a bit, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thanks.